Hi everybody, it's Angel Womack. And I know some of you, my biggest fans, may have missed me last week. I wasn't feeling too well at all, and had a pretty bad weekend last weekend as a scandal was exposed on Amazon. And I made a big fuss about it, so I'm sure you could check out the videos. Did a blog post yesterday, so I don't want to get too much into it since I already talked about it a whole heck of a lot this week. I'm just gonna get down to the podcast, and today is July 21st, 2017, of the Hybrid Nation podcast. So sit back, relax, as I got 3 book reviews to go over, and stepping up to the plate as the what's the word I'm looking for? I got a brain fog right now. As the leadoff hitter, it's Dead Cold by Jennifer Chase. And that book was reviewed by Elaine Emmerich. And that was the known book review of the week last week. That was the book review I was going to do, but because I wasn't feeling so well and it wouldn't make too much sense doing one book review, so I decided to postpone it to this week, figuring I would get more book reviews than I did. And the second book we're going to be reviewing is A Bitter Dying by L.J. Sellers, and that book was also reviewed by Elaine Emmerich. And finally, we are going to be reviewing A World Without Color by my friend Bernard Jan, and I'm the one who did the book review of that one. So I got 2 book reviews by my reviewer Elaine Emmerich and 1 by yours truly. But first, let's start off with some news. Of course, you guys, the news was last week there was a scandal on Amazon that kind of broke the Amazon charts, and like I said, it's not really news this week since that was last week's news, and I don't want to, I don't want to, just keep going with it. It's time to move on. So of course, like I said, you could get my books on Amazon. Thousand Years War, the series is still doing pretty well for itself. Got a couple of new reviews for my books, so you could check them out. I'll put the link on the description to my Amazon book page, where you could check out all of my books, such as the Thousand Years War series, Giannis, The Devil's Election, and then you got Angel's Nightmare Adventure 1 and 2. So all that good stuff you can check out on my Amazon page, where you can get some excellent reads for your reading pleasure. And of course, the Thousand Years War, all 3 books are still 99 cents each, and I don't intend to change that for a while. Giannis, The Devil's Election is $2.99. That's the premium read, and the Angel's Nightmare series 1 and 2 are 99 cents each. So get yourself some good reads this weekend, folks. And we're gonna have some fun this weekend reading, right? Now, let's get on to the book reviews. The first book review we're going to be doing is Dead Cold by Jennifer Chase, and this book was reviewed by Elaine Emmerich. Let's see what this book is all about. Jennifer Chase, I believe we did 1 book review from her already, so this is like the second book that's being reviewed. And let's see what this is all about. And it starts off with, what happens when one California community has a disturbing spike in homicides? It catapults cops into a deadly game of murder, forcing human body parts hideously displayed at the crime scenes, offers a horrifying interpretation that only a sadistic serial killer could design and execute. So on the hunt for a complex serial killer, vigilante detective Emily Stone must face her most daring case yet. Stone's proven top-notch profiling skills and forensic expertise may not be enough this time, though. Young and ambitious Detective Danny Starr catches the homicide cases and discovers it will test everything he knows about police work and the criminal mind. Can he handle these escalating cases, or will the police department have to call in reinforcements? Who are the reinforcements being the FBI? So, sounds like a really good mystery thriller. And of course that's what Elaine loves. She loves mystery thrillers. So we have another mystery thriller coming up to review. And let's start with the characters. So the characters are Emily Stone's the vigilante detective. Rick Lopez is her boyfriend and former police detective. Jordan Smith is a former FBI agent and works with Emily and Rick on cases. Kayla Swanson was a 13-year-old who was kidnapped 5 years ago, and Emily rescues her. And finally, Detective Daniel Starr is investigating the case of mutilated frozen body parts. So that's the cast of characters on that end. Now, let's get to the plot. So according to in the name's words, the story begins about 5 years ago. Emily and Rick are on a case of a missing 13-year-old. They find her on a boat and Emily rescues her. Kayla vows to find Emily and thank her for saving her life. 5 years later, Emily and Rick are working on the case of a 3-year-old named Anna Rodriguez who was kidnapped from the Northwest Farmers Market. They locate her and get her out of the compound. As usual, Rick notifies the authorities anonymously and the police arrive at the scene. Detective Daniel Starr is called to a state park where a frozen dog was found and other body parts were found in trash cans. Emily and Rick do their own investigation and ask their friend Jordan to help them with the case, and the police find other body parts, and an unknown woman is drugging these men and mutilating the bodies. It's always a race against time to find out who's killing these men. So and then we get to the writing instruction. Emily thought Jennifer reads a story that is full of twists and turns. The story rolls from beginning to end and keeps you on the edge of your seat, and the main characters are like old friends to me. Very interesting perspective on that, Elaine. And then the ending, and the ending is fast-paced and pounding. Jordan is drugged by the unknown woman and is taken away to her home. And then Emily, Rick, and Detective Starr on the chase to get Jordan before she kills him. Will they get there in time? You'll just have to read the book and find out. So overall, this book under 5 out of 5 on the scale, and this is book 6 in the Emily Stone series by Jennifer. That is Jennifer Chase. That's her 6th book in the series, so you can read the other 5 books before. And it can also be read as a standalone if you so choose. The cases Jennifer tells is well thought out and brilliant. The book and the series are must reads. And of course she's looking forward to the next adventure in the series. And we'll probably be here to review that one as well. So keep a good look. Next book is A Bitter Dying. That's A Bitter Dying by L.J. Sellers. And this book was also reviewed by Elaine and Rick. Now, the blurb for this book is, when a frustrated ex-con takes a young family and their home hostage, the only officer he'll speak with is Detective Ray Jackson. But Jackson already has his hands full running the Eugene Violent Crimes Unit, overseeing the investigation of a series of seemingly random assaults. While Jackson juggles the hostage negotiations with his chaotic single-parent home life, the assault points to a troubled company that recycles industrial oil. With several lawsuits pending, the CEO of Westpac emerges as a likely suspect in the latest attack of a trial lawyer. As Jackson goes to meet with the hostage taker's demands, a powerful politician interferes for personal reasons, and the standoff turns bloody. Meanwhile, the latest assault victim dies, and Jackson's team must scramble to identify the assailant. Can they piece the connections in time to prevent another murder and save the family? You'll have to read and find out. Characters go on. Ray Jackson leads the Violent Crimes Unit. Then you have Detective Nara Evans, who is a team member of the Violent Crimes Unit and the elite SWAT team. Marcus Rossi is an attorney for Doug Triner, who is suing Westpac. Ted Daggett is the CEO of that company. Thomas Foster is an ex-con who has taken hostages in a home that he once owned. He wants the county to return his home to him. So you got a kind of a disgruntled former homeowner. And then you have a character called Iswa Spielman, who currently owns the home. His wife and children are being held hostage, and he's an attorney for Westpac. So the plot goes like this. Marcus Rossi is taking his normal run on a bike path when he's hit from behind and knocked out. He is the third person to be assaulted in the Eugene, Oregon area. Detective Jackson is in court. He is being sued by his ex-wife fiancé for wrongful death. The hearing has been delayed, and he gets the call about Marcus's assault. He asks his Detective Nara Evans to take over the investigation. At the same time, it's a hostage situation, and the hostage taker whose name is Thomas Foster, will only talk to Jackson. So Evans has been called as part of the elite SWAT team to the scene. She gives her case to Detective Rob Sharkowski. Jackson finds out that Foster wants his home returned to him. He was convicted of criminal activity with his son, and the county confiscated his property. But his conviction was overturned, and now he wants his home back. The family owned that house are the current owners, the Spearmans. Another person has been assaulted with a machete. Then you have the detectives are trying to determine if there's some sort of connection with these assaults. And then Detective Sharkowski is heading to Bend to arrest Ted Gaggett, but on his way he is of an assault outside of Bend. He meets with Watson Orman, who's been beaten. Shaq has found a connection between her and Marcus, so basically you got a bunch of assaults, and then somehow they're interconnected somehow together. So to make the long story short, the ending is, according to the name, is it was a non-stop heart-pounding turn of events. You'll find out who was assaulting these people and why, and you'll also find out why Thomas wanted to see his son one last time. And of course the rule in the hibernation is don't give away too much, so you just have to read the book for yourself. So this book obviously got a 5 out of 5 on our official scale, so congratulations. And this is book 12, wow, of the Detective Jackson series, and she has read all 12 books, and I love how L.J. Centers creates and evolves the characters. And as a reader, you're going to care about the characters and they become your friends or your enemies depending on your point of view. And if you haven't read the series, she highly recommends it. So that is L.J. Centers with A Bitter Dying. And now we get to the final review of the night, and this is my review of A World Without Color by Mr. Bernard Jan, my friend in Croatia. He's seen the review already, so he doesn't know I'm doing a podcast on it, so this is going to be beautiful. Bernard Jan, and you should check it out. And the blurb of his book is, what do you say to someone who is dying? And what do you say when that someone can't understand a word you are saying? And in this case is a cat. How do you comfort each other throughout and beyond? My love, if you go away in a few days, in his words he says, the world will lose its colors and darken might the nano Mordor. If you go away and leave me to wander aimlessly alone, then this sea become wild, like a ship with a broken rudder and drowned sailors. And if I don't find comfort in the warmth of your body, crushed in my embrace at the end of the day, I'm afraid I won't survive. I don't regret anything. Marcel was not only my cat, he was my everything, my brother, my friend, my world, shank in a soft gray striped furry bowl. Bernard Jan. So you can already tell this is going to be a book full of details. Even though it's a noveletta, it's a very detailed, oriented story, and it's got not an imagery, figurative language, symbolism, and definitely Bernard's a very creative writer, and I have to give him credit for that. Basically the character focuses on a cat named Marcel that I assume belongs to Bernard. I could be wrong, okay? It's written in like a strange but well written second person point of view, and I know a lot of books are not written in second person, because it's pretty hard to write and it's hard to pull off. But Bernard tried it. He went beyond the Call of Duty. He went with the second person point of view, which is the hardest to write, I have to say. Other than then you got the third person, which is the easiest, and then you got the first person, which is the second hardest. And I can sense that Bernard really loved this cat. I can feel the love between him and this cat, and he puts many great details that enhance the characterization. And if you're an author, you can learn a few cool tricks, from Bernard with his imagery and symbolism. The plot 5 out of 5 I give it to him. The plot is an emotional one, and that it kind of made me cry. And don't judge me, okay? I don't cry very easy, but this book really got me emotional. It's about the last 3 days of a cat named Marcel, and gets the point of view of the cat, maybe through memories. It also describes the actual feelings the 3 days before he dies. And to add to the shock factor, Bernard also even included a picture of the cat itself, Marcel, which really got me. And I'm allergic to cats, and I still found found it hard to swallow. So if you like sad stories or you're looking for something that's emotional, this is a book for you. And for me, this was a pretty good break after reading and writing action novels. This was definitely a welcome break from those genres I usually follow. The only knock I have is the writing structure. A few portions of the book were tricky to follow and I had to reread them, which is why it took me a little long to finish Navanetta. But because Bernard's native language isn't English, it's Croatian, and I won't count him against him too much. I gave him a 4 out of 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 stars. So still very, very well written, Bernard. I mean, even though I had to reread a few parts, but that didn't bother me too much. It didn't take my focus away too much. So the ending is, I cried the most because Marcel dies. Kind of a spoiler right there, but you kind of know from the blurb, that Marcel's gonna die. So it's given to you in the blurb if you really pay attention. But I won't get too much after that. And I felt that I was Bernard. I felt like I was him. If you know what I mean. I was in the book. And I love books that pull me in and make me feel that I'm part of the book. You just have to read it for yourself, alright? That's all I could tell you. And other people have rated it the same as well, so good job, Bernard. Keep it up. Overall, a 4.8 out of 5. Not quite the perfect 5, but you know what, Bernard? For your first self-published book, right on. Highly recommend the book. And even though it's a 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Amazon scale, that's a 5 out of 5. I'm probably going to give him a 5 out of 5 on Amazon. I'll have that up tomorrow. So if you're waiting for that review, but no, I'll hurry up tomorrow. Don't worry. So that's it for the reviews, guys. Coming in 16 minutes, and I think that's gonna do it, guys. Glad to be back on the podcast. Have another one next week. Obviously God winning, and if I feel okay, but definitely I feel welcome being back behind the camera, and talking about books and doing what I love. And by the way, one more thing, I'm still working on my Knit RPG, Life is a Beach. Getting into a bit of a writer's block though, so I'm going a little slow, but then again, part of it is because I'm marketing so hard for my books, and I'm getting some sales, and I want to keep that up. But eventually I'm gonna just have to start writing non-stop. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Guys, hopefully you guys have something fun planned, and I'm sure I'll have something fun planned. So guys, take it easy and see you in the next podcast. This is Angel signing off.